over £1 billion of premium currently on the system, in every analyst report, and in every serious conversation about modernization at large insurers today. And this is happening more and more because the AI conversation is bringing attention to the fact that a lot of insurers are running on legacy, and moving it to the cloud does not make it no longer legacy. It's simply legacy as a service, and I think there are a lot of legacy as a service providers around here. Socotra brings true modern practice to the insurance industry. So, for example, to choose probably the biggest example, besides cloud, I'll come back to that, is that Socotra has truly productized policy administration. Now, if you called Salesforce and said, I don't care who you are, if you reach out to Salesforce and say, I'm a very large enterprise and I want you to make a special version of Salesforce for my particular need, what they're going to say is, tell us what you want to do, and we'll show you how that can be done within our platform, because they've made a well-abstracted and well-documented, robust cloud platform it's possible. And Socotra is the first and only so far such platform for policy administration. Everyone is on the latest version, upgrading continually. That's something that you're not used to seeing in core platforms. I hope that changes, because that's just the way software works these days. If 3 kids in a dorm room can make a photo sharing app that doesn't go down for upgrades, why can't a policy administration system? We even publish our downtime 3 years in a row. Our average customer downtime, total downtime over the last 3 years, is just over an hour total, and they upgraded 148 times. We publish our performance numbers as well, audited by AWS, showing how well it can work under load, fast server response times under very, very heavy load, including auto scaling, so you're not paying for services that you don't need. And keeping everyone on the same version means special things for AI. Now, there are a lot of amazing AI demos out there, and all the legacy as a service providers have vibe coded themselves some impressive AI demos. And you can go to their conferences and see those demos. And then when you go up there and say, hi, I'm from XYZ large insurer, I'm a customer of yours, can I use that? Be prepared to hear, well, okay, here's the thing. It's not available, or yes, absolutely you can use it. It's going to take 2 years or whatever else. That's not how modern software works. Imagine what it would look like. Imagine Gmail operating that way. Gmail didn't operate that way. When Gmail added AI, what happened? A little icon appeared. You click on the icon. Good to see you, Alex. You click on the icon, and you've got AI. That's how modern software works. That's how Socotra ships AI, and it has been released, Socotra Assistant, for any user of the Socotra Operations Workbench. Now, don't worry, we're not going to put an icon there for your underwriters to experiment with without your permission. We do have to turn it on, enable it, and it's a week of setting up prompts, familiarizing it with your documentation and so forth, your documents, your rules, those sorts of things. No engineering there, no special version for you, and most importantly, nothing could possibly happen there that will cut you off from getting your weekly upgrade. And that means when Socotra Assistant has more functionality, you get more functionality. And that also means, because of our, because Socotra is fully documented, MCP servers, strong APIs, everyone on the same version, all on the website. Go to docs.socotra.com. Those of you looking at your phones, I know that's what you're doing. And because of that, AI can read that documentation as well. We released, middle of last year, the Socotra Agentic Configurator, where you can simply describe an insurance product and it will configure right there. And you can have your insurance product in Socotra. We do it all the time as a POC. It takes a week. 1 week for that, 1 week for the Socotra administration, Socotra Assistant setup. That means in a 2-week POC, you can go from a handshake with us to running the demo you're about to see on your own insurance product. So with that, I welcome Paul to the stage. Let's do the live demo. Now here we've got the operations workbench. And as I described, there's a little button over there, the little black one appeared. That's the Socotra Assistant. Let's see that guy. There it is. Look at all the things that it does. In this case, we're going to show an underwriting workflow. It's going to step us through underwriting. And it's going to start with looks like a document import. What do you got here? Paul's an underwriter, and he's been given some documents to create an application.
I received 2 documents. The first one is this proposal and the risk presentation that I got from my broker. Lots of information in there, probably a template we've never seen before, different structured and unstructured information. We see here the different requests for covers that the broker is looking for, a schedule with information in the structure we haven't seen, some handwriting. So we got this, and then alongside we got a vehicle list, so an Excel that the broker shared with us. And so with that, I'm able to go, and I'm just going to click extract, select those 2 documents.
You're live. All right. No longer a one-handed demo.
And the extraction process kicks on.
Not everything works as well as Socotra, unfortunately. Okay, so importing those arbitrary documents. So what's going on here? He's got some arbitrary formatted documents going into an arbitrary configured insurance product. Because the foundation is strong enough, the AI is able to link up the arbitrary document with the arbitrary insurance product and put everything in the correct place, as we can see up here, populate drivers, vehicles, all of that. So what's next?
So most of the information is here. I haven't really looked at it that much. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see how the data is. And thanks to that, I have the validation here. And so the validation, again, is the Socotra Assistant reviewing what information was extracted and seeing, is there anything missing? Is there anything that's wrong? And in this particular case, the SIC code was not part of this application. So I could try to figure it out, review the list of different options, and get that entered manually. But what I'm going to do is switch to the chat and simply use that chat to describe what I want and let the assistant take care of understanding what we have, what my request is, and taking action on this particular submission. So I'm just going to ask it, update the SIC code with the best match for this risk. And right there, the assistant's going to look at this risk, understand it, and make a recommendation for me. And so it found one particular SIC code, 4923. And what it does is that it makes the change directly for me. And so now it describes why it finds it, justifies the choice, and the SIC code is now part of the submission. And so when I go back, this time, everything should be good, and the validation is complete.
Awesome. So that's the basic validation of fields. We've got a couple more here. We've got guidelines and insights. So kick those off. Guidelines that's all the rules that policy administration systems typically do today. Those are the rules. Those are the things that an Excel spreadsheet could understand. No vehicle worth over this amount, not more than this many vehicles, no driver older than or younger than this age, those sorts of things. And not a lot of AI there in the calculation, but AI can explain it so you don't get ugly error messages. More interestingly is the insights. These are the more fuzzy things that are the more qualitative things that an underwriter spends time thinking about. And here it can highlight things given a book of underwriting risk assessment rules. And what do we find here?
So we see is one issue has been flagged as critical by the Socotra Assistant. And so what I'll do is, to understand what is going on, I'll expand it, see which vehicle it is related to. And what I see is that in this particular case, the following flag was triggered, which is the vehicle is parked on the street. And so what I see in the vehicle is that the answer was a quite nuanced one from the broker. Street on weekdays, garage on weekends. And to Dan's point, this is exactly where AI can come and help. That is not a rule anyone could have put in an arbitrary system. This is where AI starts flagging this for us and gives me, the underwriter, the ability to decide what do I want to do with this case that is not black or white.
Yeah, very often the answers are yes, no, and it's complicated. And you can either try to represent that ontologically in some really complex way, or now in an era of AI, the system can work like a human, and you can write like you would to a human. It's on the streets on weekends, garage on weekdays, weekends. And the system can understand that and can flag for the underwriter and make a recommendation.
And here the recommendation is exclude this particular vehicle. And the important part here is the final decision of actually excluding that vehicle from this particular submission is my responsibility as the underwriter. And so what I can do is add this particular vehicle to the exclusion list. And then what the assistant suggests is create the document that we can share with the broker with the reason why this vehicle will be excluded. And so as I click draft, those documents get generated with the information that we have and the decision I've taken, and I'll be able to share that with the broker. In parallel, I can start thinking about the price. The document was downloaded, I can go for it. If I go to the price, in this particular case, we decided to have a pretty standard structure. I, the underwriter, can decide to override it. We wanted to keep this as an action that is in the control of the underwriter. But once I'm done with the price, and in this case, I'm not interested in any particular overrides, what I'll do is the final step. We've got our underwriting done. We've got our pricing ready. Before we want to present this particular proposal to a broker and return to the broker so that he can present it to his customer, what I'll look to do is actually summarize all the decisions we've taken, whether me as a human or the assistant as it was going through the risk. And so this particular action summary will create for me a complete report of what we've done through in this particular submission. And so while that runs, this will be prepared for me, and I'll be able to save it so that it's not only generated at this point, but also locked into the audit trail. And I obviously could edit it if I'm not happy with it. But in this particular case, I'm happy with it. I'll save it to notes. And that makes it part of the audit trail, not something that gets disappeared. And if we need to come back to this quote to understand how we came to a specific decisions, we're able to. And then we could carry on with the process, share everything with our broker, and when the broker's happy, finish our particular flow with accepting and binding this quote, and then going through with issuance when the time's right.
Awesome. So we can imagine here that this can provide at least a 10x performance gain for the productivity gain for the underwriter. And the two things, to recapitulate, that are of most importance. First, most importantly, this is not demoware. This is released software. Go to our website, see the videos of exactly this thing, see the documentation. The MCP servers are documented. The user manual for this is right there, docs.socotra.com. Socotra is bringing modern software practices to insurance, and we're bringing maturity to AI, to insurance AI. And secondly, any insurer that wants to try this, as mentioned, 2-week POC, week 1, we put your product, every aspect of it in Socotra, your documents, your rules, everything, using the agentic configurator. Week 2, we set this thing up with prompts and your underwriting guidelines and such. And you're doing this demo on your product inside of 2 weeks. So we'd be happy to chat with any insurer about doing that. I think that's it. Thanks, everyone. Hope you joined the conference.